So, Reading in the FA Cup, we're currently the holders, and this has been a big competition in the last year, I guess, for the likes of Rashford, Lingard, Memphis, not so much, winning trophies at a young age. How important is it to these players? Do we need to rest some of the first team? Because we've seen the likes of Pogba, Ibrahimovic playing pretty much every minute of the season. Or would a rest in those kind of players perhaps slow down the momentum we've seen over the last sort of 7 to 10 games? Adam?
Got to rest some players, don't you? You've got to. Especially I just keep thinking, when is Zlatan Ibrahimovic gonna have a rest? And the likes of Michael Carrick, I think we could wrap them in cotton wool as well during these next two cup games. But particularly with them being at home, I think that gives us a little bit more of an opportunity to change things. But I don't think there'll be wholesale 7-8 changes. I just think 1 or 2 here and there, like maybe not starting Zlatan Ibrahimovic at the weekend. Do we need to start him? I think Martial, it'd be nice to see if he could go through the middle. Marcus Rashford has come on and done very well. So it's time, I think, to give these guys an opportunity, because not only do we need to rest the likes of Zlatan Carrick, you need to give these guys a chance to play up front as well. It'll be interesting to see if they can play up top. So I think we do need to make a couple of changes, but I don't foresee Jose making wholesale, like, changing everyone. I just can't see that happening. He hasn't done it with the Europa League football, and I don't think he'll do it now.
Okay. Paul, what do you think? Would you like to see a lot of changes?
No, I think, broadly speaking, I think I agree with Adam. I think the one big change, the one headline change I'd like to see is Rashford or Martial playing up top instead of Zlatan, because we've seen Ibrahimovic on this wonderful run. Mourinho was asked after the West Brom game whether he expected Ibrahimovic to play as many games as he had, and he said that the one area where he thought he'd rest him more would have been the Europa League, but we struggled with the group, so he had to play him every week. I would imagine we've got the whole game in the League Cup immediately afterwards. I'd imagine the more full-strength team would play in that game, even though the quality of the opposition is probably pretty similar. The fact that it's the semi-final is a big deal, and the fact that it's it's over 2 legs, so you could take some liberties. But yeah, no, I'd like to see Ibrahimovic rested. I'd be real surprised if Pogba was rested, though. I think maybe switching it up to a sort of 4-2-3-1, play Mata instead of Carrick, because Mata definitely doesn't need a rest. In fact, he needs games. And play Rashford or Martial through the middle. That could work really well.
Okay, Dave, weigh in. Where do you stand on this?
I think it's going to be the other way around. I think he might rest players midweek against Hull City. Obviously, Hull City just lost their manager and in pretty terrible form in the Premier League. So I think this Reading side could be a harder opponent than actually playing Hull City. Obviously, JAAP STAM as manager there. They play some pretty decent stuff over at the Majeski Stadium. The possession stats in the Championship, Reading are ranked number 1. They're 3rd in the league. So potentially what I'd do is I'd play full strength against Reading, rest against Hull City, and then go again full strength against Liverpool in the Premier League, because that is a massive game.
Big game, yes, accurate. Right, let's talk about Manchester United's left back. We thought Luke Shaw was going to be the man who played there for the next 10 years, but this season he's sort of been in and out with injuries again, and some people have questioned his form. Guys, who do you think is our best left back at the moment? Luke Shaw, Marcus Rojo, or Daley Blind? Adam?
I think Luke Shaw is. I still think Luke Shaw is. But I do think form-wise, Daley Blind will be starting. But again, with Luke Shaw, I think it's similar to the situations with Anthony Martial and Henrik Mkhitaryan. He just needs to get used to the way that Jose Mourinho wants him to play. His game would have completely changed, and it's crazy. I remember when Louis van Gaal came to the club, similar things were said then as well. He is a bit overweight. He needs to get fitter. He needs to do this. He needs to do that. And now he has to adapt to a new manager. So it could take him a little bit of time. But I do still think Luke Shaw should be regarded as our number 1 left back. We just need to get him up to speed and up to fitness with the team. But Daley Blind has been playing well there. The thing with Daley Blind, it's like he's such a very good footballer. His reading of the game, his passing ability. Sometimes, the thing with Daley Blind, he'll make one mistake in 10 games and everyone will say, he needs to get dropped and you can't start him at left back or can't start him at centre half or whatever, wherever he's made the mistake. But he's such a very good footballer. He's such an intelligent footballer. He sees things that others don't. Bless you, Sam. Was that
Thank
Sam?
You. Sorry, yeah, that was me.
Yeah. He's such a good footballer, but has he got a spot in this team? That's why I think it could be a trick in trying him out in my Carrick's position when Carrick isn't fit to play, but that hasn't happened yet.
Okay.
But Luke Shaw is still number one.
Okay, and you're sure about it. Paul, what do you think?
Patrice Evra.
Good answer, to be fair.
No, I think that to sacrifice Shaw, to just give up on him and say, okay, he spent all this money, he had that kind of season where he really struggled, then he broke through and then got his leg broken for him. To sacrifice all that would seem kind of foolhardy. So I think Mourinho needs to do whatever it is that he needs to do to get Shaw fit again. But in the meantime, right now, I think Blint's an excellent option. And in many ways, I think that Blint's best position is actually left back. The him versus Adama Traore, then you have to maybe think differently about it. That did not go well. But generally speaking, he hasn't actually struggled that much against pace from left back, because so often when the team structure is working properly, when you're playing at left back, you're fronting up against pace, set and in position with pace kind of running at you. And Blint's excellent in that spot. The only problem is when he gets turned and when the in behind him, which actually in Mourinho's system we're playing so high up the pitch that does happen. But then you do have centre back cover, and I think particularly when Eric Bailly's playing, you have a lot of speed in that centre back cover. And because Rocco, I don't know how much to credit Rocco's kind of precise reading of the game, because he's played a lot at left back. When he's on that left-sided centre back spot, he can kind of cover for Blint a lot. And when the ball's in the final third, when Blint's on his game, he's devastating with it. And he can help get the best out of Pogba, help get the best out of Ibrahimovic in those interchanges, and even Martial.
Okay. Dave, what do you think? Who is your preferred choice at left back?
I think it's a difficult one. Obviously, it's the United position that nobody's kind of locked down. Obviously, Luke Shaw had a decent spell at the start of the season, but then got injured. And, since United have gone on this unbeaten run of 13 games, Shaw hasn't featured. So that is a little bit of worry for him. Obviously, he needs to get back into the team. Right now, I think it's Daley Blind, like the lads are saying. I think Daley Blind is definitely up there. And what he can do in the final third, how he can pick a forward passes, gives United something else coming out of the back. But I do kind of agree with Adam. Potentially, it's time to start trying Daley Blind at defensive midfield. Played there for Ajax, was pretty decent there. We've seen him at centre-back and how he can command the area there and bring the ball out of the back, which is a big, big thing for a defensive midfielder. Sometimes United are a little bit too deep under LVG and under Mourinho. We saw the game at the weekend. It wasn't good enough from United in terms of bringing the ball forward, and Daley Blind could do that from defensive midfield. So I think Daley Blind left back this season, but maybe next year, central midfield, defensive midfield. But at the moment, he is number one for me.
Okay.
The thing about playing him at centre midfield, though, don't you think that generally people just get past him so easily because the game can so easily kind of go over and behind him, and then he's completely out of the game?
I think what we're seeing with this United team is that they have a lot of the ball, like the Louis van Gaal team, so they probably help having another ball player in there. In terms of the structure, obviously, with what Mourinho's doing, you said the fullbacks go high, they go really, really high, but they do drop to a 3. So having someone like Daley Blind who is comfortable playing centre-back, and United's fifth system sort of transitions from that, the 4-2-3-1 to maybe pretty much a 3-4-3 with the ball. Daley Blind could be an asset there, but I kind of agree with you. I'd like to see him tested out at defensive midfield in a defensive sense, whether he has that same aggression and commitment and his ability to read the game that he showed at centre-back. Can he transition that to defensive midfield now and not get beat in those simple situations? I'd just like to see it. I'd like to test Daley Blind out.
Oh, do you know what, Dave? It's difficult listening to you because it all makes so much sense and you talk so well. But you also once said that Roy Keane wasn't world class, so I don't know what to think. I don't know what to think when you say words.
Yeah, Dave. Have some of that, Dave.
Anyway, let's talk about the starting lineup options. We're playing a new game now where for every correct player you name in the starting lineup, you can earn a point. So this is a debut for all three of you in this format, so good luck. Adam, what is your predicted starting lineup against Reading?
David De Gea in goal. You can tell I didn't prepare for this, right?
Yes, that's true.
I researched opposition, I did everything, and I didn't think of a team. What a bell end. Right. David De Gea in goal. Valencia, Rojo Jones, and Luke Shaw. I hope he comes back in for a game. And why not Reading at home in the cup? In the midfield, like Paul said earlier, I wouldn't play Carrick, and I'd use that opportunity to bring Mata in. Mata has been fantastic for us. He scored another crucial goal this week, and oh man, I just love Juan Mata, and it's a shame that it's kind of like Daley Blind's situation where if he's not playing left back, where do you play him? Because with Juan Mata, if we don't play a number 10, he's not getting in the team ahead of Mkhitaryan on the right, ahead of Martial on the left, ahead of anyone in the midfield free. So you can't really start. You can't make an argument to start Juan Mata when we play a 4-3-3. So it's a bit unfair on him. So we need to take opportunities like this to play Mata. So I play Mata, and then I play Martial, Rashford, and Mkhitaryan.
Well, thank you for listing some players. I hope that wasn't too strenuous. Paul, you're 11.
So De Gea in goal. I'm not going to get many points because I'm going with Hart overhead. I would like to see Valencia given a rest and Fosu Mensah right back, Rocco and Jones, and maybe even just Darmian at left back to keep some people fresh. I think if Shaw is ready, this would be a pretty good game to reintroduce him. But Darmian is my official pick. Herrera, Pogba, Mata. Mkhitaryan, Martial, and then Rashford up front. Again, Hart overhead because I'm sure he'll play Ibrahimovic, but you know.
Well, you never know. Dave?
I'm going to try and go for the win here, so I'm going to go David De Gea in goal, back four of Valencia, Jones, Rojo and Darmian. I do think that those two players have been fantastic this year. Obviously, since that United have gone on that unbeaten run, it's been Rojo and Jones at centre-back. Something that I'd never think that I'd ever see at Old Trafford, but they've been absolutely incredible in the 11 games that they played centre-half together. Obviously, they picked up 8 wins, 3 draws. But the quite interesting stat is that defensively, they've made more clearances in a centre-back pairing than any other pairing in the division. So it is that they are maturing and they are looking good together, especially Phil Jones. Big fan of Phil Jones this season. Anyway, into midfield, Michael Carrick, Pogba, Herrera. That's absolutely standard. Then I'm going to go with Mkhitaryan on the right wing, Martial left wing, and Zlatan Ibrahimovic through the middle. It's going to be unchanged for United, I think.
Dave, I've got a stat for you. I think this is Phil Jones' longest run of games without injury for Manchester United.
I can confirm it is, and that is as well. That is incredible because he's made of what, paper?
Yeah, because it's not even that many games. It's like 13 games. That's
absolutely
ridiculous.
Incredible.
It's literally ridiculous that that's a thing. Anyway, we'll find out who gets how many points very soon. Now, let's talk about Reading. Apart from having the best team song on the internet, I think we can all agree. What do we know about them?
You're on your own there, Sam. You're on your own there, Sam.
No, he's not.
Yeah,
I stand with Sam. They call them the Royals.
It's mental.
Oh my goodness.
It's so strange.
Let me just log out of Skype.
I like it when the rap comes in. That's my favourite bit. It was so unexpected.
Yeah. Should never do raps on YouTube.
If you haven't looked up the Reading FC song, do it.
I reckon we can put it in the description down here. Click on that. It's 4 minutes. You'll enjoy.
It'll change your life.
Yeah.
Are we getting paid to promote them now?
No, but we should be.
Yeah. You're like Guy Fuller out here.
Right, Adam, tell us things about Reading.
JAAP STAM's the manager. I can't wait to see his big bald head back at Old Trafford. I love JAAP STAM. What a centre half. Absolute beast of a man. And he's got Reading playing like some Louis van Gaal kind of football, lots of possession. It's very boring at times. It's sometimes very effective. But when it goes wrong for them, it seems to go horribly wrong for them. So it'll be interesting to see how they come out. I think if we can get an early goal and we force them to come out of their organised, because they're going to be very organised and they're just going to pass and pass and pass. So if we can force them to have to attack us and we get an early goal, I think we can get a few goals. But if we take a while to break them down, it's just going to be like a 1-0, 2-0. Mm-hmm. It's going to be like one of those games what we watched under Louis van Gaal.
A grind. Yeah. Paul, what do you think?
I love JAAP STAM.
Do you know much about Reading or JAAP STAM?
Well, I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong on this, Dutch football experts, but I'd say that Stam is more from the Cruyff school than the Van Gaal school in terms of the way he uses his 4-3-3. And they have scored 3 goals, I think, in all their last 3 games, or definitely in their last couple. So they score maybe more goals than Van Gaal's team, but they concede goals too. They scored 36 and conceded 32 in the league. So the league position is excellent, but their goal difference is pretty shaky for a team that's third in the championship. And yeah, I mean, like Adam said, it'll be possession football, but I'm not sure it's the kind of really static, dull possession of Van Gaal. It's kind of a slightly more contemporary update on that.
When I watched them, they were so boring. I watched them this season, and they were really, really boring. And I had them in a bet, and they let me down.
Dave, lay some stats on us.
Well, obviously, Gareth McCleary is their key man in terms of forward, scored the most goals for them this season in all competitions. But like the lads are saying, it's a possession-based style. The two centre-backs, Paul McShane and Liam Moore, are the top passing defenders in the Championship. So I think it's kind of, you've got to look how we played Spurs and how we scored there, where we had Ander Herrera nicking the ball from one of the centre-backs, intercepting a pass and then playing a through ball straight away to Mkhitaryan. I think that's kind of how we play against Reading. We sit a little bit deeper and we wait for them to sort of bring the ball out the back with their centre-backs, and then we pounce, and then we go, and then we counter-attack. Because obviously they want the ball. Let's sit off and let's break.
That sounds good. I like that plan. Okay, final thing to do is guess the score. Adam McCullough, what do you think the score will be?
I'm going for... I'm going to chill. I'm going to say 2-0. 2-0.
I like it. Paul?
I think it's going to be a tricky one, this. I think 2-1 to United.
Oh, interesting. Dave?
I'm going to go with 1-0.
Well, you've all been fairly conservative, so I won't be. 4-0.
Yes, come on, lads.
That doesn't mean it's going to happen, Adam.
Kind of
4-0, yes. Right, guys, let us know what you thought. Get in the comments below. Lots to talk about. Try to avoid having a go at Dave for thinking Roy Keane wasn't world class. He's just.
Fletcher was in his United all-time 11.
Well, what's wrong with Darren Fletcher?
We've all got our issues, and some of them are hidden, and Dave's aren't, so that's fine.
How is it possible?
Nothing wrong with Darren Fletcher being in your all-time West Brom team.
We'll leave it there.